What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to do the route glitch that gives you access to additional routes on players that shouldn't get them. So if you look at the tight end, we have a reverse slot fade, very, very good for bombing. And I'll just show you how to do this across the board. It's going to open up your offense a ton, and you're going to get some big plays with routes like this. The first thing you need to know up front is that you can't do this with any play. It has to be an auto motion play. So I'm in Y off X close. This is the Bills playbook, and this is known as U trips as well. And I'm going to come out in motion corners just to show you what I'm talking about. So if you look at the tight end, he starts as a tight end. If you try to put him on a hot route, you're going to have the tight end menu. Well, what happens is in this auto motion, he ends up in a wide receiver position. So the game kind of recognizes that as a slot receiver. So what you can do is utilize flip to get him on routes like slot receiver routes. So if you press Y or triangle and then RB, which is your slot receiver, this is what your slot receiver menu looks like. Your tight end is going to have temporary access to this when you flip. So if you press X or square and then RT and then press YALT, you're going to see we now have him on a slot fade. It's a reverse slot fade. Now, the cool thing is you can actually wait for him to set. So we'll go ahead and flip again, press X or square, RT, press Y, A, and then just wait for everybody to set. We have the slot receiver menu technically open, although it looks like the tight end menu. If I press LT right now, look what happens. He's now on a slot fade going to his side, so a normal slot fade. So we can utilize this to really be creative on offense. You see a lot of players doing this out of a ton of different formations, mainly pro players, people who want to go the extra mile. But there's a lot of things you can do with this. Now let's talk about a couple route combos I like out of this play. These are straight out of my Bills offense on acemadden.com. Go check it out if you want the full offense. It's extremely high powered. You will never struggle to move the ball again. Just try Ace Madden for 1 month. I promise you will not regret it. So what we're going to do is talk about the first route combo I showed you in the video, which is the cover 3 bomb. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my formation. So you want to come out with your trips to the short side. You're going to press X or square, RT, press YALT. We're going to get that reverse slot fade, and then we're going to set up the rest of the play. So we're going to put the solo receiver on a speed out, stem him up twice. We're going to put the slot receiver on a streak, and then return route the outside receiver. So all you have to do is read the high-low between the Texas and this slot fade. If you have the slot fade, they're not covering it. Boom, easiest cover 3 bomb of all time. It runs extremely fast, and it doesn't really get much better for cover 3 bombs. The next setup isn't nearly as flashy in regards to just getting a one-play touchdown against cover 3, but this setup is just very effective against pretty much any coverage. So for this one, we're actually going to put the tight end on a slot receiver zig. It's very important that we utilize this slot receiver zig, because if you just put the tight end on a zig, he's just going to go to a zig to the same side, which is not what we want. We actually want a reverse zig. No, not a return route. I'm going to make that very clear in a second. There's a big difference between this and a return route. So what we're going to do is press Y or triangle, RB, look at the slot receiver menu, locate the zig. That is D-pad left for the zig. You need to remember that because when we flip, we're going to put that tight end on that zig. So we're going to press X or square, RT, Y, A, D-pad left. We now have this baby zig reversed, which is perfect. This is different than the return route that the game gives us. The return route runs way wider. He's not as good against man coverage. And for spacing purposes, this one is way better than the return route. So what we're going to do at this point is put the solo receiver on a slot fade, flat your running back, deep cross your slot receiver. So this is your final play art. And again, this is going to be good against pretty much every coverage. So you kind of have a natural high-low between this zig or this reverse zig and the slot receiver deep cross. Then we also have that delay route from B, which is the outside receiver, trailing. So it's kind of like that drag deep cross return concept, except we have a delay route, which is even better. So you can read the running back first. If you want to throw him. But then just immediately move to the tight end reverse zig and then the deep cross and lastly delay route. And just to demonstrate what I'm talking about, look at the spacing between a return route from the tight end, the delay route, and the deep cross. It can work. It's just not as good in my opinion. And this return route just doesn't separate quite as good against man. For whatever reason, they decided to nerf that this year. I just prefer this kind of baby zig. It's just better for spacing purposes. Again, it's just overall better. If you can have one on the play, definitely use it as opposed to the return route. I know it requires extra effort and you can only do it on certain plays, but it's just so much better in my opinion. He runs faster, and you can throw him a little bit more like a drag as opposed to that very long return route. Just to be clear though, there's other plays in the game that have auto motion that can result in different hot routes. So if you look at a play like boomerang PAY wheel out of bunch tight end, the play is not that good because you can't block your running back or change him or anything like that for whatever reason. But this is a good example of, for instance, that wide receiver going into the backfield, which means the game does recognize him as a running back temporarily, which means running back routes. So we'll go ahead and call boomerang PAY wheel. And this one's a little bit different because B is on an auto motion, and if you flip the formation, it ends up being X. So you do have to remember that when you do the hot route. So what I'm going to do is go back, and we're going to go ahead and press X or square, RT, and then press Y, X, and then we'll do D-pad up for Texas. So now look, we have this reverse Texas from that receiver. Is this the best play ever? No, because the running back has to do this stupid motion and we can't block him or anything. Hopefully that changes next year, but just look how crazy this reverse Texas is. So getting these kind of routes on your players can really confuse your opponent and just open up your offense even more. Not like offense is hard to begin with, but it is a fun thing to do. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the video. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, just hit me up in the comments section and I'll be sure to answer. Again, this is out of my Bills offense. If you guys just want all of my route combinations, go check that out on acemadden.com. You can use code LAB for 25% off. And if that doesn't interest you, at least make sure to subscribe to this channel. It's brand new. And this is something that's going to continue into next year where I post tips every single week that help you get better at the game. So thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.